And that ties into, like I said, this will be a series of stories. That ties into me going on my truth seeking, waking up in 2015. But that's, like I said, I'll get to that. But me going on that and just having like a spiritual awakening, kind of, in between time frame now to then. Like I said, so sorry. So much on my mind. It's led me on this, like I said, my journey where I'm at now, where I'm able to come and tell you this story. But all of that and me finding this information out, like I said, I had to ask those questions because nobody knows anything. I don't have really anybody to ask. But I know I have the, like I said, the knowing. I just know this is something that happened. It happened to me. I know it's happened to others. I don't know if I was something like, if it was ritualistic, because of maybe an affiliation to these organizations. So that is another reason, like I said, I'm doing this video. Maybe somebody in my area knows me or has heard of things in the area. So I will be right back. Hang on. Okay, I'm back. So, again, we were at my dad, or not my dad, I apologize. My dad's side of the family, this uncle. Okay, so, okay, every time I try to come on, I told you, and do this video, the devil was like, or the other bad energies were like, you ain't getting it out, not today. Devil's a lie. We're gonna get this out today. This message got to be told. So, again, back to story time. So, like I said, all this revelation came to me. Like I said, you see, it caused a whole overwhelming emotional shift. So, that, finding that out, that ties into going a little bit forward. So, like I said, that was still around 4 or 5. After that, I want to say, around that time, I was around 5. My dad had his first heart attack. And I want to say this is going to be a story of trauma, heartache, deception, just a lot. Okay, so it might be triggering for some. I will attempt to not use any, bad language or anything like that. I don't know if kids will be watching, and I want this to reach everyone that it is divinely supposed to touch. Because, like I said, I had a complete kind of awakening, and I just want to make sure I touch as many souls as I need to. Okay, so like I said, Dad has his first heart attack, first like life-shattering event, I could say, that happened for me. I want to say, look up reasons behind metaphysical reasons. I do look up metaphysical reasons behind things because of a lot of things that have happened to me. So, metaphysically, look up reasoning behind the cause for wearing glasses, whether near or farsighted. I am nearsighted, so I cannot see far away worth anything. I take these off. It's bad. It's a wrap. Can't see nobody walking in the door. Don't know who you are. So, again, that's when I actually started to wear glasses. It was right at that time. I remember I was 5. Ever since then, these have been attached to my face, so much so I fall asleep in them often. So that is the first instance of trauma, big trauma, that I remember. Like I said, other than me having the whole spiritual breakthrough, the energy coming through of that, epiphany, that's what happened to me when I was younger from the uncle. So, started wearing glasses. After that, let me see, my dad, like I said, was sick. That first heart attack changed everything, like literally. My mom had to Well, she didn't have to, but she did adjust. When I say everything, like all food, my dad used to eat steaks, potatoes, everything he wanted, greasy fried, he would have. Um, After that, that changed totally. She stopped cooking with any um, anything with salt. Period. Hold on, let me adjust this a little bit. Um, yes, anything with salt, um, additives like MSG, anything like that. She totally changed that because she thought my dad's first heart attack was because of um, the food and things that we ate. So, we're really accustomed to that, eating a lot healthier. She stopped frying everything. Like I said, no salt, nothing. So, once she did that and come find out really what I do believe, like I said, after going on my whole journey of, I'm tying this all into me finding truth and everything. Um, my my mom thought that it was the diet, and what we really think now, after processing everything, like I said, coming to truth, finding things out, we think something attacked his heart, like MRSA. At that time, they didn't know what it was. Um, he had worked for the city for a little time, and just ties into my trauma. It's a whole lot. So I have to weave that into there because this is all talking about like my dad's side of the family. Um, so um, let's just say the job that my dad had with the city, we think that he got cut. And because of this cut, possibly that something got infected in the wound, he would not go to the doctor. I'm a man, I'm fine. Uh, he wouldn't dare do it. He wouldn't go to the doctor. So, um, when he finally did go to the doctor, she, like I said, now looking back, hindsight, and talking with my mom at that time, she was like, it was too late. It's like the infection got to his heart and affected his heart. Had a massive heart attack, went on disability immediately. He was only 25, 26 years old, very young. My dad, locally, was a musician, self-taught musician. Taught himself how to play drums around the age of 15. When his mother put him out of the house, uh, he was known as the black sheep of the family. I'll say that, which caused us all to be treated as the black sheep of our family. That ties into more trauma as well. But we'll get to that. So dad, like I said, was sick and everything from the age of 5 on, us eating differently, all because of that. And so after that, sure, he got a little bit healthier and everything, but never was the same. Never was the same after that. Couldn't go back to working for the city. So he started playing drums, more, and stuff like that. He was already playing, but he played drums more. And so much to the fact where when I was young, I, didn't know it, but when my dad had his own band, and it was called Neutral Zone, and he was loved by so many. I actually had someone that worked for me, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, your dad was, oh, his name was Kenneth White. Your dad was Kenneth White. Oh my gosh, I he used to play, and we used to sneak out to go see him. Like, oh my gosh." So, like I said, used to sneak out, go see my dad. Everybody loved him. He played self-taught. Had wonderful musicians and everything that he worked with. They have all, most of them, not all of them, have since passed, but some are still in the area. And like I said, um, it's very traumatizing because trying to um, navigate through that when you're young, like I said, it was like a not knowing. That's why the metaphysical reasoning for the wearing of the glasses, I was saying, look into that. Um, it's like not being able to see. You can only see what's right in front of you. You can't see, what's coming on the horizon. You don't think that things are like it's going to be a good outlook because of that type of trauma. So internalize that, how that goes, because, it's like I was daddy's little girl, and that was so hard to, to see him have to go through that first heart attack and everything. But then, like I said, he got better, was playing and everything, and everybody loved him. And after that, had a pretty normal childhood. But before I even get to, because he had a second heart attack after that, and why he got sick, which is like another key part of this story. While I did have a normal childhood, like I said, after the age of 5, I don't remember stuff when I was younger. I had the other difficulty of my grandparents. They were not very good to me. And this wasn't my mom's mom. And I never knew my maternal grandfather either, my mom's dad, at all. Who was on her birth certificate was not her real father. And I'll get into that later. Excuse me. But, so my dad's parents, when I say my childhood was good, it was. But remembering my grandparents, when we used to go over there, I never liked going over there. I always felt uneasy. The biggest reason behind it, finding out later, they never liked my mother. They never liked my dad being with my mother because my mother and father were 8 years apart. She was 8 years his senior, and she was his bus driver. Yeah, so that kind of, peed off some people in the family. They thought she was a gold digger, or not gold digger, but because she was older. So, but she already had children, so of course she wasn't right for their son, which was also the black sheep of the family. But not only that, they really just disliked my mom. They thought that she was a cougar, and they shouldn't be together. But he picked my mom. My dad fell in love with my mom. They met on the bus. She was like I said, his bus driver. It was such a beautiful story, how they met. Excuse me. But they meet. He gets on the bus. She thinks he's too old to be on the bus and politely kicks him off the bus. He argues her down. No, ma'am, I'm supposed to be on this bus. You need to get your old self off of this bus or we're going to have a problem. He comes back the next day with his ID. He didn't have his ID. Proved that he was supposed to be on the bus. Nagged and stayed around ever since. Hung on tight, and basically, I'm here, my brother's here. Okay. So, they had 2 children, and like I said, my mother already had 2 children. So, grandparents were... I used to go over and do my grandmother's hair. She had a Jerry curl. she smoked cigarettes. Now, when I tell you I am a reformed smoker, I smoked cigarettes for 13 years before I was hypnotized. Thank God. And God delivered me from that. But I smoked. And so I too understand. But that was way before anybody talked about how bad it was for children. And secondhand smoke, it was way before that. So, like I said, she smoked. It would be all in my face, my hair, my clothes, all of me. I hated. I had to stand right behind her, and it was just like, my God, she's killing me, Mom. She's killing me. Do I have to go over there? Do I have to go? And yes, you have to go. You have to go see your grandmother. You have to go and help her. She needs help with her hair. She needs help around the house and the dishes. Fine. So I would go. Do her hair, like I said, twist it, curl it. Started doing her when I was 12, but I did her hair before that. Like I said, dreaded going over there. Mainly because they treated us like I said, the black sheep's children. The redheaded stepchildren, excuse me. Every Christmas, every birthday, everything, we were always forgotten. We were the last thought. The presents that would come, it would be old, dried up nail polish, jewelry that would break, sweaters big enough for someone a size 3X, something small enough for a person that's a toddler, 1,000-piece puzzles. Brother got that one year. Like, why do we even have to go, Mom? That's embarrassing. Everyone else gets the nice gifts. Everyone else gets, presents, big presents, money, We don't get that. My sister would always joke and kid. She hated going over there too. But she would go and sit in the corner, go sit somewhere else and try to run off and, not be around us. We would always find her. Dee, where are you going? You need to come back over here. Oh, no, we're underneath you. Nope, you can't go. Nope. So,